let me know.
All right, we're recording. All right, so I will go ahead and introduce y'all and then you get started. So hi, everybody. It's great to see you. We have Gary here with the South Carolina Wildlife Partnership, who's going to talk to you a little bit about our partnership with them. And then we're going to hand it over to Joe Gonzalez, who's with Camp Leopold and the South Carolina Waterfowl Association, who can tell you about our partnership with them and some opportunities that we have. So I'm going to hand it over to Gary, and then we will move on to Joe.
Great. Good morning, everyone. And thanks for having us. I know it's a busy time with school just starting, but no time like the present to talk about an exciting program and partnership that is in the process of being developed. And I want to thank the South Carolina Charter Schools, South Carolina Waterfowl Association, and the Department of Natural Resources, Wildlife Partnership, and this is a way for us to augment and supplement the educational programs, the excellent educational programs that the Waterfowl Association has, the charter schools, and all of us working together to develop a program that we hope that students and teachers and guidance counselors and everyone involved sees this as a team effort. At the Wildlife Partnership, which I now serve in a more of a volunteer capacity, the vision is to connect public hunters with private landowners who are willing to provide hunting opportunities that promote respect and land and ethical hunting for the future. And so we're more on the, we have always been more on the hunting side of the house, but after a conversation about maybe a year ago with Chris and with Emily, I felt like it was important for us to bring in these different partners to include the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, the Waterfowl Association, and all of us, including the National Wild Turkey Federation as well, to find a way that we could work together to develop a strong education program and an outdoor activity program where there would be things like workshops and to develop a holistic approach to outdoor programs, including conservation, wildlife, all the different pieces of what we consider the outdoors to students. And so after conversations with Joe Gonzalez at the Waterfowl Association and Val Elliott and Ed Paul and everyone who is very interested in participating, we have finally come up with what we believe, and I'm sure Joe would echo this, something that we could be proud of, that students would benefit from, and it has a strong educational component. I'm just trying to develop a holistic program approach that would help students that are interested, of course, in the outdoors and how the environment impacts wildlife. And so we're all in it, I think, for the same reason. And so I'm not going to get long. It's easy for me to get long and talk about why this is so important, but I'm available at any time to help promote this program, to speak to your team, Chris and Emily, and come to the school if it works. With all the COVID that's going on, COVID guidelines and rules, I'm more than glad to come and mask up and talk to anyone who you think I should come and talk to. Appreciate your interest and enthusiasm towards this, and there I'll stop and answer any questions, which we're taping this, so I'm available anytime to answer questions. So Emily, I'll stop there and turn it back over to you.
Thanks so much, Gary. And now we're going to have Joe Gonzalez from Camp Leopold and the South Carolina Waterfowl Association talk to us about the opportunities there.
Sure. I appreciate everybody's work that's gone into this. It has been just a lot of conversations, but I really think that this is something pretty special and unique that we'd be able to offer the charter school students and the charter school system. So just everybody from the administration down to the teachers, even pre-COVID, y'all had some pretty challenging roles. And I know that, this year has been over the top with that. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing for the students and helping to ensure that the learning continues and that everybody's safe. So I've got a presentation that we'll start with. I can pull mine up on mine too.
Yep. Emily's working on it. She said it's trouble.
Loading and being slow, but I am working on it.
Hey, no worries. We're all about flexibility here, and I've got it pulled up on the other half of my screen too. So, yeah, I'm just going to talk specifically about the Camp Leopold portion of this partnership here and what we would be able to offer all the charter school students. So once we get good, we can roll with that. So I can talk a little bit about the program just as it hopefully loads in here. I understand we're having the same issues with technology in Lexington too last night. So those are things that happen. But Camp Leopold, we started in 2012, and the main focus of our program is just to build the relationships that students have with the outdoors. I think we've all seen as technology continues to improve, we become further and further detached from nature. Something like less than 5% of students in the United States have had an overnight or outdoor experience. So that's something that we really look to provide at Camp Leopold, just kind of get students out of their element and teach them about the outdoors. And we do it from a common sense environmentalism approach. We don't teach that humans are the bad guy and that we're the cause of all the disaster that's happening, but we do talk about how to use our natural resources wisely through conservation, just the wise use of those resources, so that when we understand things in the environment, we can use them in a way where both humans benefit and the environment isn't compromised either. Kind of a good balance. So that's basically our mission there. We want to create an ecologically literate citizenry by heightening student awareness of the natural world. That's really what we stand for. So we do all this at our Wildlife Education Center. Now, I know that while I was out with the baby, a bunch of y'all, I think many of the people in this group went on a tour of the WEC over there. So we're just north of the lake, just above Santee, and we're sitting on about 1,200 acres of outdoor classrooms. So this is everything from waterfowl impoundments to dove fields to wetlands to upland forest. We have a little bit of everything on the property, and the reason for that is we can immerse students in these habitats that we're looking to teach them about. So if we're teaching them about the plants and animals that live in a forest, we can be in that forest while we're teaching them about that, and they can see it. It's just kind of an immersive experience that a lot of students haven't really had before. So not only are they learning about it, they're getting the hands-on component. So our lodging, if the PowerPoint could work, if not, all this is on our website too. So wildlifeedcenter.org.
There we go. We got it.
Perfect. Look at that coming through. So I'm on slide 5, Miss Emily. Perfect. That's the one. So to do all that, all of our lodging here is located on site. We've been told, I might be a little biased. We've been told that in terms of camps, we have some pretty nice lodging facilities. They all have, a teacher hears the word camp, and a lot of times you're like, man, are we going to be intense with these kids? Are we going to have running water? There's some nice amenities here. We've got air conditioning, we've got heat, we've got running hot water. So in terms of camps, we're doing pretty good in the lodging department. So that's where if you and your students wanted to come on a field trip, you would be staying in one of these buildings that you see in the next couple slides. I think the next slide is also just a picture of some of the inside of the lodging. Yep. So they've got dividers down the middle. We leave them pretty flexible to how the teacher wants to lay that out. They split. So there's a lot of different options in terms of how we lodge your students, and we really leave that up to the teacher, just because they understand their students and their behavior and their needs better than anybody else. So we have a lot of different options there. So the next couple slides just talk about, COVID has obviously been pretty challenging for everybody. If there's any silver lining for our organization, it was that while students weren't able to come to camp, we were able to get a lot of projects done that helped improve our infrastructure. So this slide is showing we have an island on our property, which is just a cool kind of ecosystem in itself. The students really enjoy being out there. It was inaccessible for the most part unless you were in a canoe or some kind of boat. And, for students that may have disabilities or handicaps, it wasn't really an option. So we're able to complete a boardwalk that allows everybody to access that island. We play games out there. We have like a campfire area out there, and we do several of our classes out on that island. And kids just think it's really cool to be just surrounded by water. So that's been one of the cool additions we've been able to add. The next one is something that you would see if you've ever been to like Riverbank Zoo or any other zoo. We have a waterfowl aviary on the property. You walk through a set of double doors, and then you're out in a little common area with 25 different species of waterfowl, North American waterfowl. So it really adds a good up close and personal aspect to our waterfowl classes. The kids can be, feet away from these ducks and learn what they look like and what they sound like while we talk about why they're important ecologically. So it just adds a good visual component. And we do handle birds in the classes as well. So kids usually think that that's pretty cool. All right. This has been definitely pivotal in just helping us to grow the program to the level that we know it could be at. We completed our dining hall. It's a 300-person capacity, and it was put into use for the first time with our summer camp. And this has just added a whole new space for us. Number one, just to serve meals in a much more conducive atmosphere than our lodge. Our lodge was great, but we were outsizing it pretty quick. This also provides a great space for, if we have inclement weather, there's a lot of activities that we can do in here. There's a ton of space. It's set up much like a school cafeteria, so it's something that the kids would be familiar with in an area that gives them plenty of room to spread out. All right. So this has also been one of the popular additions. We have a zip line. What you're looking at there is the north end of that island that I was talking about earlier. And the students will fly across the water, and then they'll land on dry land on the other side. But it's a great component for, we use it for our team building classes. We use it for a waterfowl class. It kind of gives them an idea of what these ducks experience as they're flying over the air. More advanced kids, we use it for physics class. There's a ton of possibilities. At the end of the day, though, it's just fun. And the students really have enjoyed this since we've been able to add it. All right. So these are some things that we're looking at adding in the next year or two. We do currently have a low ropes course. We're looking to build on that by adding additional elements to that, as well as building a high ropes course and a climbing wall. These are things that are going to be really good for teamwork. A lot of schools use these when they come on field trips at the beginning of the school year. They use these as kind of a way to set the tone for the classroom. They get all the students working together, and again, at the end of the day, it's just fun. But these kids are learning things and life skills and soft skills from these courses that they don't even realize that they're learning. They're just having a good time. But we're really excited about being able to add to our team building elements. So our curriculum, all the classes that we offer meet both the state and national science standards for grades 3 through 7. We do work with grades younger than that. We've gone as young as pre-K, and we've had students as advanced as college at the facility. And all that we do there, we just have a little bit of extra communication with the teacher to make sure that we're touching on the appropriate standards. So we can serve any grade level that the charter schools may have. We have several schools from the upstate that do week-long trips with their high school, where the students are actually kind of in charge of what curriculum they want to learn, and we work with them on how to implement that. So we've got a lot of flexibility in what we can offer and how we can offer it. So this is just an example of some of our classes. We're always adding to these. A lot of these have been the result of teacher and student feedback. They see something while they're on a field trip and say, hey, I think it'd be really cool if y'all could add this or that. So most of these classes have come about because of those suggestions. I think that's one of the things that makes our program unique and strong, is that, we listen to feedback, because at the end of the day, this program is for the students. So things that they find interesting, we want to be able to entertain that. So we have a mix of classes that take place at daytime. Then some of the evening classes, they're learning, but as they wind down for the day, they're a little bit more fun natured. So for example, the environmental hearing, we put students in teams where they each represent a different entity, and they have to defend their case. So the example we use is that Disney World wants to come and build at Camp Leopold, and each team has to defend why, based on the things they've learned during the field trip, why that may be a good idea or why it may not be. And the great thing is there really is no right or wrong answer. They just have to kind of think critically and come up with that argument. It usually gets pretty heated. But then, it's not camp without a campfire. There's a lot of really cool options that help students have a good time while they're away from home at night in an area that they may or may not be familiar with. All right. So one of the most important things that we stress both to parents and educators is that while we want our programs to be fun and engaging, above that, we want them to be safe. So we've taken the time to go through a lot of different, getting accredited by different agencies. All of our staff is CPR, first aid certified. We're certified by just about everything you can be certified by. The biggest one there being the American Camp Association. They kind of hold you to these standards, and that ensures that we're not just running a fun program, but we're running a safe program. I know that COVID is on everybody's mind. We've been carefully working around that at our camp. We were able to successfully do our summer camp without any issue. All of our staff has been vaccinated, and then we work closely with both ACA and South Carolina DHEC to make sure that the things we're doing at camp are in line with what's being deemed safe by the schools. So the program that we're really focusing on offering is the three-day, two-night program. So you can just see the prices there. Now, some schools are going kind of a different route with this. There was a lot of federal money that was received through the ESSER funds, and they've actually incorporated that into their ESSER 3 recovery plan. And basically, the criteria was, the funding had to be used for remedial education, kind of making up for lost time since students were out of schools due to COVID. So we worked with the folks at the in Columbia over the Department of Education that said, hey, this fits that role. If schools want to use this funding to bring their students on a field trip, this would completely qualify. So we have a lot of schools going that route. That's actually what I was doing in Lexington yesterday. We're working with Clarendon 2 and Sumter as well. So that's an option. I think, if I remember correctly, those plans are actually due today, but we do have some other options for funding if that is going to be kind of a limiting factor with these schools. We've got some options. So
I will just pop in there. It's Emily Paul. I wanted to let you guys know that we do have plans to help you cover some cost of that. So if you are interested in Camp Leopold, please let me know.
Great. That's awesome. So kind of to segue with what Emily just said, we do have scholarship opportunities through these corporations that you see on the screen. They recognize the importance of what this program offers students, and they provide scholarships to send kids to camp. So we have some options that these are mainly for our in-school program, but there are some that are specifically for on-site programming as well that we would probably be able to pull from. So there's a lot of folks in the state that want to help get kids to this thing as well. All right. So this kind of is just kind of reiterating what we talked about with the ESSER funding and what Emily was talking about with other funding sources. So we can skip this one. This is just promoting our in-school program. So while COVID had schools, while schools may have been in session, we weren't able to have kids at the camp. So we were able to innovate and develop this in-school program called Camp Leopold Plus. We weren't really sure how it was going to be received, just with, the stipulations that each school faced with COVID and policies that they had regarding that. But it ended up being a huge hit. So from fall of 2021 through or fall of 2020 through spring of this year, we were able to actually serve over 14,100 kids in their school. They had a great time with it. We had a great time with it. It was nice for the kids to just have a normal experience in a time that has really been anything but. So it was so popular that we think we're going to continue to offer this. So we're going to charge $5 per student if this is something that a school wants to do. And we're going to also be looking at trying to get some corporate funding to sponsor this. So for now, it's $5 per student. We're hoping that we can offer it at no charge. So keep that on your radar. I know it says that we mainly offer it between November and January. We are going to try to continue to do this year round. So this last slide is just, we stand behind our programs. We know that we offer quality programs for students. This is just a testimony from a Beaufort County teacher, and we've got thousands of these, but I just, thought it would be good to kind of finish it up. We're about the kids at camp, and especially now more than ever, they just need things that are going to help them grow, not only in their academic background, but at this point, just socially and emotionally and mentally. I mean, it's been a tough time. I'm 31, and it's been a crazy year, so I can't imagine what these kids are going through. So we would love to be able to have your students out at camp. We have plenty of availability. It's, we're starting to see schools book with this ESSER funding, but to date, we have enough that, we could host whoever wanted to come. So I put the contact information on this slide for both myself and for our Camp Leopold director, Abby Zabrodsky. So if you're interested in bringing your students on a trip, please feel free to call us or email us at those addresses or phone numbers that are on the screen. And I think that's about all I have. If y'all don't have any questions, I think I'm finished. And if you're watching this and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of the contact info you see there.
Joe, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you and Gary. We love the new partnership and relationship we have with the South Carolina Wildlife Partnership and with Camp Leopold. As Emily mentioned, we had the opportunity to go down and visit Camp Leopold, and we were both just blown away by what we saw and seeing the kids and how engaged they were with the instructors. It made me want to be a part of that program. And I want our students at our schools to have that same opportunity. And for so many kids, they don't have access to the outdoors. They don't have access to hands-on learning science in that way. And so I think it's an engaging opportunity for our students. And I hope that our schools that are watching will want to follow up with us and get more involved. And as Joe mentioned, you can use your ESSER funds. The department has been very collaborative working with Camp Leopold on this. And I just think that, it's a great opportunity for learning, a great opportunity for learning loss. And I would just also add that with a lot of the social emotional issues that kids have experienced this past year as a relation to COVID and, the lockdowns and all that stuff, I can't think of a better way to help kids emotionally than to let them get outside, get in the dirt, get out in the water, and experience nature. I think that's one way that I think we could all stand to get a little bit of that. And I look forward to spending more time down there. So again, thank you for what you do, and we look forward to being great partners with you in the future. Emily?
Yeah, thank you so much, both Joe and Gary, for sharing about your programs. Schools, like I said, we do have some money set aside to help you with some of these things. So if you are interested in what you saw, please just get in touch with me and we can go from there. Thank you,
The only
everybody.
thing that I add something? If
Yeah.
I could add one thing, thank you so much for allowing us to come in and talk with your teams about this. I would say that we are available to help customize. If the camp is not what a student or class is interested in, we could develop, or I can develop through my contacts, workshops. Something that has to do if students are interested in agriculture, we've got access to biologists to come in. What I said in the beginning about a holistic approach, I know that's a powerful word. Holistic being all inclusive and a way in which we can bring to you the folks or the talent or the knowledge to help this be an educational win-win program that's education hands-on. One way in which I guess to look at it is the archery program in the schools has been very successful. I know everybody's not interested in hunting, so fishing is definitely on the table for those people who are and students who are interested in fishing. I've had a couple conversations with folks. Obviously, Camp Leopold and Woody has access to fishing ponds, and so if fishing is more your interest, obviously we want to make sure that we're addressing all those interests. So thank you again, and I look forward to being a partner, and as Joe does, with the charter schools, and to see this grow and flourish as the school year moves on. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to, I'm sorry, I'm going to add too, just Gary, you kind of sparked what I was thinking when you said holistic, and that's what we've really seen with Camp Leopold. A lot of times that's most of these students, that's their first experience in nature. They don't even realize that that's something that they would enjoy, you know, whether it was hiking or hunting or fishing. So I just like the conglomerate of all these different partnerships that help them build upon that. You know, Leopold may be the first thing they do, but then they realize, hey, I'd really like to explore shooting sports, and then they may really like that, and then SCWP and SCDNR can give them outlets to act on that and access to hunting opportunities. So it really is just a really cool segue, and I think it's very unique. I've never seen anything like it, so I'm excited about it too.
And know that it's low budget. In some cases, there are no fees for the participant. That not being the case for camps, but for some of the hunting and fishing opportunities, there would be no fees because of corporations like the Waterfowl Association has established with their corporate sponsors, and we have additional corporate sponsors right now that are ready to jump in. All we have to do is let them know what it is that we want them to do.
Great. Thank you guys both so much. And schools, get in touch with us if you have any questions or if you're interested.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you.